FluenceXL can connect to a wide range of data sources, from analysis services to Power BI, Anaplan to relational databases. In this video, we will look at how to build FluenceXL tables on relational data, specifically SQL Server. Tables are the fastest way to retrieve data from a relational data source and are well suited to list type reporting. Grids can also connect to SQL sources and give more interactivity, but have a processing overhead and so are slower. It is up to the user to decide which option suits their needs more. Connecting to relational data starts with the same process as connecting to other data sources. Choose Microsoft SQL Server as the connection type, enter the server URL and click Connect. Then choose the database to query. To build a table, we use the FluenceXL ribbon drop-down menu to select Table. This will open the Query Designer. The designer is built of multiple sections. We have the available tables and views from our database on the right. We can drag and drop the tables as needed into the Visual Designer. The Visual Designer allows us to design the query without having to write the SQL directly, although that is also an option if you prefer. I can drag in the geography table and then select the data I want to see. I can use the star wildcard to select all the fields, but to narrow down the scope, I will only select the regional information and the customer info to return the customers per region. I can drag in a second table for more information. I will bring in the customer information. We can see the two tables are linked by the geography key. We also notice that the SQL for the query is being written as I use the visual editor. I can use this section to directly edit or paste in SQL queries I already have, or for stored procedure calls. Clicking OK will load the results in a table. We can return into the Query Designer at any point through the right-click menu, the ribbon, or by double-clicking on the data. Once in there, we can use Criteria column to add a static parameter into the query for our countries by typing equals our value. I will use Australia here. I can see a where clause has been added to the query, and once I load the table, we now only have the customer details for Australia. We can make the parameter dynamic by referencing an Excel cell directly. To do this, we simply use a parameter in the criteria column and then use the parameter box in the bottom right to define the cell that constitutes the parameter. It is possible to set up the table to be driven by slicers too. We simply use the drop-down in the parameter box to choose the slicer we want. So here, my table is linked to a simple slicer where I can choose the country. We can add calculations by using the Add Calculation ribbon option. In this table, we have used a prepared view of sales and order quantity. We can add a calculation to find out the average order amount. We will name the column and define it as the sales amount divided by the order quantity. FluenceXL allows you to pivot your columns. This takes the value for that column and makes a new column for each one. Instead of having months going down with 1 month on each row for each country, we can pivot them and have them go across the columns. We now have 1 column per month, and the table is much easier to read.